Hello, everybody, and welcome to United Talks podcast. You're welcome to the Takeaway Show. You're welcome back to United Talks podcast. Welcome to the Takeaway Show. And we have to talk about this. 10 games. 10 games unbeaten. Right? 10 games unbeaten. And it's like 5 wins, 5 draws. Manchester United beat Everton 1-0. And if you're a Man United fan waking up this morning, that coffee tastes a little bit sweeter. You know, everything that you think about, like with regards to where Man United is right now on the table, we're top 4. Chelsea are actually looking up at us, and Michael Carrick's revolution keeps rolling on. Yesterday, or today as at the time of recording, yesterday at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, wasn't pretty, but it was gritty. It was a 1-0 win over Everton that felt less like a football match and more like a tactical war of, attrition, Chances were rare. The defenses were on top, and for large parts of the second half, we were just hanging on, basically. I talked about this in a match review, where we talked about, like, when we reacted to the game, like we said, we're just basically hanging on for life in the game. But then it happened, the 71st minute. The 71st minute, the moment that defines the current team, a stunning counter-attack, a brilliant crossfield pass from Matheus Cunha, the unselfishness of Bryan Mbeumo, and the inevitable clinical finish from Premier League's most lethal super sub, Benjamin Sesko. Now, you think about it, we spent around 200 million for these 3 players, and they all combined to score the 1 goal. Cunha gets the ball. He's the first that came in through the wind. Ironically, the first that came in through the door, basically in the transfer window. He finds Bryan Mbeumo, who is the second to come in through the door, and then Bryan Mbeumo finds Benjamin Sesko, who's the third to come in through the door in the transfer window. Now, today we're going to do a deep dive. We've got 5 massive takeaways from the game, from the performance that showed our character, and we've also got 3 bonus insights that the match reports most probably missed, and then we've got 3 hugely positive spins and why this win is bigger than just the regular, like, 3 points and all of that. And I'm going to tell you, before we get started with that, I'll just say get comfortable, hit the subscribe button, and let's dissect another Carrick masterclass. Now, Manchester United are the most informed team since December this season, with 10 games unbeaten, 5 wins, 5 draws. And then Manchester United have the most points since December, getting 16 points out of a possible 18. That is like it's great to see that the team is grinding out results. The team is trying to not write off the season. That was basically what my thought was over the last couple of hours before I recorded the video, that the team is trying to grind out result. But then we have another video that we'll prepare where we'll kind of react to the tactical masterclass between both managers and how Michael Carrick took advantage of, like I kept saying in the match preview, and even like all of the short videos, take advantage. We need to take advantage, and we sure did take advantage. Taking advantage of Everton's high press and intensity and just pouncing on them, just the way they pounced on us when they had the opportunity and they were 1 man down. And Keenan Dewsbury Hall basically was at the center of everything for them. So basically, we are going to do the takeaways, right? For all the talk about, possession, for all talk about, the banana peel of the Manchester United versus Everton game, we're going to look at takeaway number 1, and that is Benjamin Sesko, the ultimate closer. And we're going to break it down, talking about the man. Fulham, West Ham, and now Everton. 3 games back-to-back where he scored goals. This is 3 games in recent weeks where Sesko has come off the bench to score a vital goal. He is redefining the super sub role. He wasn't even on the pitch for an hour, yet his impact was different, right? His impact was the difference between 1 point and 3. right? His movement to find space in the box from Mbeumo's layoff was textbook. We have a weapon on our bench that no other team in the league possesses right now. And you think about it, that even Cunha had the opportunity to give Sesko a similar pass, but didn't, right? And then now Mbeumo had that same opportunity and laid it perfectly for him, and he had the opportunity to bend his body, arc his body a certain way to actually pass the ball to the bottom right of the net. And Jordan Pickford knew that that ball was going to go in that way, but still couldn't get it because Sesko was clinical on the day, right? And that's the fact. He had 2 shots on target, or he had 2 shots or 2 clear-cut chances, and he scored 1. So that's well enough for me. And I said my target for him this season is 15 goals, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility so far. I think he scored like 9 or 10 goals all competitions, and if he can get 15, I mean, that is, for a 22-year-old, that is a good season considering the turmoil that we've been through this season. And there's no how that the remaining 11 games will go without Man United scoring goals and Sesko being a part of it. So Sesko has been phenomenal, and he's been impactful in this game, in this particular team, on this match day, and in the last 3 consecutive games. Right now, the next takeaway is the counter-attack style of play. It's basically kind of like, obviously everybody's talking about it as the United way, right? For all talk about possession, the game was won with a moment of pure transition brilliance. And I had a feeling that Everton were going to be a transition team, right? Everton were going to be a team that was going to rely so much on high press and transition because they're a very organized team. In fact, if you look at it, David Moyes' side is always an organized side. Now, the goal wasn't just Sesko's finish. It was the entire sequence. The vision from Cunha to see the crossfield pass on a slick pitch, you know, under pressure, was world class. Mbeumo, you know, squaring up Michael Keane was intelligent, and Carrick has drilled his team to be lethal when the opposition commits bodies forward, and he paid off perfectly. As I said, basically, you have to think about the fact that Everton are going to eventually push forward, and if we can be able to break their lines, that will be super interesting, and that will be key for us to actually succeed as a team. And then the next aspect, or the third takeaway, is takeaway number 3. Senne Lammens is a wall. We will not go through these takeaways without talking about Senne Lammens getting his 5th clean sheet this season, right? We can't talk about the win without mentioning the man between the sticks, right? The save from Michael Keane's pile driver in the second half, that wasn't just a save, it was a match-winning intervention, and we will always talk about it. It was like the hair regen moment. He also tipped over Tyreek George's effort late on, and Everton had the better of the second half, which we saw, and we'll talk about it when we're doing the tactical analysis. But then Senne Lammens ensured that our goals against column remained at 0. His confidence is spreading to the backline, and basically 1 more goal, 1 more win, and +1 goal difference to make it +11 on the table, and also for us to climb to the position of 4th when we started the day on 5th on the table, just behind Chelsea on goal difference and ahead of Liverpool on goal difference. So long may it continue. Takeaway number 4 is the defensive resilience in a hostile atmosphere. Everton's atmosphere was a hostile one. I mean, they started with a back 4 of James Garner, the right back position, a former Man United player and an academy graduate of Man United, and then they also started on the left with Jarrod Branthwaite, so it felt like they were playing 3 at the back but actually playing a flat back 4 with pacey guys like Jarrod Branthwaite with his long legs, and Jamie Garner with his pace and ability to cross balls and his dead ball, you know, prowess. But then we were able to capitalize, and Matheus Cunha drifting into the midfield actually created opportunities for Branthwaite, for what's his name, James Garner, to actually, you know, push towards the middle of the pitch and all of that. So I mean, long may continue. I mean, if we're able to take advantage of certain teams and play a certain way, we should be able to grind out the necessary win. Right, so the defensive resilience in a hostile atmosphere was actually there for all to see. Going to Everton is never easy, especially when they are in 9th and fighting from the first minute. When Tiano Barry forced a nervy clearance, you knew it was going to be a battle. Diogo Dalot and the centre backs were immense. Basically, they blocked shots from Gay, Idrissa Gay, from Keenan Dewsbury Hall. Even when Everton were turning up the heat, we bent, but we absolutely did not break. Absolutely did not break. And that's the Carrick backbone that we are talking about. That is the impact of a manager, doing what's necessary for us to grind out the win and to get a result. So, yeah, the defense was good. And somebody was trying to, I think I said that in the last video. Somebody was trying to tell me that, and even Fabio Romano also tried to tell me that, basically with Licha on the pitch, we win more games and all of that. How about with Harry Maguire on the pitch? In 10 games, we've lost only 1. How about that? With Harry Maguire on the pitch, in 10 games, we've lost only 1. That's a record. So Harry Maguire was very instrumental, playing on the left side of centre-back alongside Leny Yoro. And Leny Yoro must be learning a lot from him, because Leny Yoro was being hustled around by the centre back of Everton, and he stood strong. He showed himself. He showed what was necessary on the day. No matter how much hard James Tarkowski was trying to actually bully Leny Yoro, he didn't let it happen. Tarkowski at some point pushed Leny Yoro into the net, but Leny Yoro still didn't give in, right? And that was it. And Harry Maguire stood up for him. So these are the things that we see, and we can actually say to ourselves that these guys have been able to deliver on the day, right? So the defense was resilient. Then the next takeaway number 5, is that we know how to win ugly. Even though when at some point Everton were behaving like a low block team, and then eventually we started to behave like a low block team, but to grind out the win. This wasn't like the 4-0 versus Spurs or the 2-0 versus Spurs. This wasn't a scrap. We didn't control possession in the second half, and the goal came against the run of play. 6 months ago, we drew or lost this game, right? Yeah, 6 months ago we would draw or probably lose this game. But then, obviously, if you look at the ex-manager's record against Everton, you probably would believe that he's lost 1 and he's won 1. So he won 4-0 against Everton, I think. Yeah. So 6 months ago, we'll probably be struggling. But under Michael Carrick, we have learned how to, suffer for 15 to 20 minutes, stay compact, and then take that one chance we get, winning when we don't play our best. And basically, that's the hallmark of a top 4 team. I mean, you look at Aston Villa going to Leeds and drawing. And then you look at Chelsea going away and calculating a 1-0 win, right? They were winning 1-0 after 4 minutes against Burnley, and they drew the game. So it all boils down to a whole lot of things, and basically we're just showing what it means to actually be a top 4 team. Now we're going to talk about the 3 bonus insights from the game. For the stuff that mainstream media missed, here are the 3 bonus insights from the game. The first one is the goal line tech moment. Remember Ahmad's chance early on, he squirmed under Jordan Pickford and James Tarkowski, hooked it off the line. The replay showed that it was a millimeter away from being a goal, and we've seen, those calls against us in the past, basically, but it's not something to cry about. It's a reminder that the fine margins are going our way right now, and you make your own luck, right? A similar one happened when Man United got a goal through Casemiro, and it was marginally called offside, and Liverpool had a similar one and it wasn't. So you have to think about, multiple scenarios and fine margins that would have led to Man United actually winning games, right? Another one, basically, is Diogo Dalot. Diogo Dalot was good on the day today. He missed 1 shot, and then he had one that he blew marginally wide, but he was an attacking threat today. We talk about defending, but Dalot's strike in the first half, whistle just wide was a rocket. He's not just an inverted fullback, he's also a genuine goal threat from distance, and Carrick is giving him the license to shoot, and it forces defensives to step out, creating space behind them. So I think Dalot today was the fly fullback, while Luke Shaw was the stay fullback. And it was very good to see. right? Another one that most people probably saw this time was Matheus Cunha's work rate. Matheus Cunha, he didn't score, but he was vital. Before his sublime assist, like pre-assist, he was everywhere. He even slipped when breaking clear on another occasion which shows that he's constantly looking to stretch the play. I thought that he took one or two touches more when he could have slipped Sesko through, and Sesko would have a chance 1v1 against Pickford because he was already ahead. The defensive work rate as well was there in the first half, and often these kinds of work rates go unnoticed, and he's also doing the dirty work that allows the midfield to operate. At some points he had to even drop into the mid when it seemed like things were not going through Kobbie Mainoo properly. He dropped into mid, and Bruno switched to the left. Like, we saw so many permutations and combinations between, you know, these guys, Bruno and Cunha and Ahmad at some point, and Mbeumo at some point, and then Sesko as well, dropping deep to help, right? So these were that was a positive, and that was what made me rate him really highly in this game, because he was instrumental to us winning the game, and he was also instrumental to us holding up play when he tries to give the team a breathing space. Then we have to also look at the positive spins from this game. So positive spin number one, you know, we look at, like, you know, let's end this on a high note. We look at, you know, what could have been negative but actually can be spun around to be positive, as we do on this channel. First and foremost is fourth place is ours to lose. Fourth place is ours to lose, and we have to continue this momentum. We are back in the Champions League spots again. Chelsea have been, you know, leapfrogged, and we're now in control of our own destiny, right? We started the weekend on fourth, and the weekend ended with us in fifth, with Liverpool getting their 3 points, Chelsea drawing their game. And then when we came into this game, everybody was looking at us, everybody was watching the game, and apparently Man United came up clutch to win it and get the 3 points and leapfrog Chelsea, who were on 45, and now Man United are 48 with 3 points ahead. So yeah, the momentum is entirely with us, and the belief in the squad must actually be sky high. Now, the next positive spin is the clean sheet mentality. At least we're starting to rack up the clean sheets now. Another game, another 0 on the scoreboard for the opposition, and defensive solidity is also there. The foundation for every good thing we're doing is there for all to see. Teams know that they are going to have to work incredibly hard just to get a sniff at our goal, and which goes to show, you know, Harry Maguire is already becoming one of the players that will be called irreplaceable in that defense, especially with the way he defends, you know, resiliently and all of that. Now, the second one, the third positive spin is Carrick's second stint is magic, basically. Remember the nerves when Carrick was appointed for this second spell? You know, they're gone. 10 games unbeaten, and out of the 10 games, he has 6 games unbeaten with 5 wins and 1 draw, right? Now he's proving that his tactical flexibility, his man management, especially with Sesko, you know, is elite, and he's getting the tune out of every player in the squad. I saw a lot of arguments on some of the WhatsApp groups I'm on where they were talking about, you know, why Michael Carrick is not starting Sesko and all of that. And my rebuttal to those arguments was the fact that Michael Carrick is kind of taking the playbook from Ruben Amorim, where you don't want the other team to control how you attack, so you put false 9s and false 10s in the squad, different rotations and all of that. And then when you've won the team out, then you bring on your striker, who's going to make things happen and going to make changes, right? And change the dynamic of how you play. And we'll analyze that tactically when we get to the tactical analysis in the next couple of hours, right? But now the board's decision to hire Michael Carrick on an interim basis is looking better with every single win. But then he's also putting himself in a shop window for the managerial position, and everybody's already beginning to sing the tune of give it to Michael Carrick. Since he's doing it, just give it to him. And then I'm seeing people like Gary Neville saying give it to the best in class, that he likes Michael Carrick, but he will not give Michael Carrick the job. He will rather give it to someone who is the best in class. And in truth, you could say that you give it to somebody who is the best in class manager, right? Now, to Gary Neville. Gary Neville's best in class manager is Diego Simeone. That's Gary Neville's best in class manager. So that tells you what he's thinking about. This is someone who said, agreed with Paul Scholes, that Diego Simeone should be the better manager to take this team forward. A manager who has no Premier League experience and he's coming to Premier League, will leave Atletico Madrid, milk cost of the money, because he's the highest paid coach in the world, to come and take the reins of Man United. I wouldn't agree with that. Anyway, let's move on from that. Everybody's going to be thinking about that. What's your take? Do you think Michael Carrick should take the job? I mean, I want you guys to put it in the comment section. Do you think Michael Carrick should be given the job? But let's do the final take before we wrap it up. So here you have it. Man United win 1-0, and this might not, make the end of season highlight reel, but it's the kind of game that gets you into the Champions League. Nobody's going to remember how we won that game, but at least it was not as bad as the Newcastle one. Benjamin Sesko is the hero again, but this was a victory built on teamwork, grit, and a moment of counter-attacking perfection. The last time we played a game was about 13 days ago, and Sesko came up clutch, and then he still continued the same rich vein of form. Now, here's my final question for you, right? Given Sesko's incredible impact off the bench, but also how well the starting front line has been playing, would you be starting Benjamin Sesko in the next game, or do you keep him as the ultimate weapon to unleash against tired legs in the second half? Would you keep Sesko on the bench, or would you use him as the weapon? We play against Crystal Palace next week, and that's going to be on Sunday. So would you wish that Benjamin Sesko will start that game, or he probably will start on the bench? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. Now, let me know also your tactical take in the comments below, because we're going to also do a tactical review video with regards to how Michael Carrick was able to grind out that win against Everton. If you're reading through, if you're putting in your comments, I'll be reading through the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, drop a like on the video and make sure you are subscribed to United Talks for all the reaction to this massive top 4 push. We're in the running. We are getting into the more clutch moments of the season, so we need to deliver, basically our wins and our points on the board. So until next time, keep the red flag flying high, and glory Manchester United. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as relates to Manchester United. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.